Okay, folks, before you get scared off by AI, artificial intelligence, wait till you see how helpful it is for all sorts of garden projects. So I pulled out those darned knockoff roses last fall. They were so high maintenance. And I decided to plant a cut flower garden in that 20 by 14 foot space instead. How was I going to plan this out? There are so many choices. Here's a couple of pictures of the area that I wanted to redo. So I consulted with one of the AI large language models to help me determine what flowers to plant, when to plant them, any special care needed, and so on. It was an iterative process, with me suggesting some favorites and AI coming up with some suggestions and alternatives too. It's a type of work a landscape architect might do, or someone with much more competence than I have. After all, which flowers should be placed in the background because they'll grow taller? Which will bloom when, and will they bloom this season or next? Should I augment the perennials with some annuals in the meantime? Mostly, what will this space look like when I get done? I think it's hard for almost anyone to really truly imagine that. Well, there's so many choices. Well, let's take a quick look at what that's AI and me, came up with. Take a look at the final version we settled on, in visual form. And yes, this is an image created directly by AI, based on a session of all of our iterations and reiterations. So check this out. Wow, a perfect palette of colorful flowers. How would I have known that these Mexican sunflowers would grow so high? They definitely needed to be in the back row. I wanted a lot of yarrow, several varieties, but which would work so beautifully in the middle section? And the wild cosmos mix, intermingling with the California giant mix, was brilliant. And how about that Cheyenne spirit coneflower? That made a stunning addition, don't you think? So stick with me till the end and I'll show you exactly the tools I use and how I use them. All told, there are 10 different flowers here, plus the creeping time border that I'm developing. In fact, and get this, I didn't even have to tell the AI model about the creeping time. It remembered that from a previous session. Most of the flowers were my selections, but my AI friend added a few of its own. It even gave me a full detail of spacing, when to plant, and so on. As you can see, we're working on this batch right now. It'll be a year-long project since we're growing everything from seed. Some seeds are already direct sowed. They're shown here under the burlap. By the way, the idea to use burlap covering over some of the seeds before germination was a suggestion from AI. That burlap keeps moisture and sunlight in, yet keeps the seeds safe from the birds and heavy rains. Some of the flowers are in seed germination trays in my germination lab right now. We'll get them ready for September fall planting. That's the best time to plant out here in my zone. By the way, my AI assistant already knew I was in Alabama, zone 8A, so I didn't have to worry about the USDA hardiness zones when deciding on which flowers to grow. All are either native or easily adaptable to my zone. But that's just a start of how AI helps me. I use both ChatGPT and Gemini concurrently. I personally think Gemini is a bit smarter, but both are very good. Most of my work is done on my desktop computer, but I also have these apps on my phone. So as I walk through my garden or my germination lab, I can snap a picture while in the app and ask a question. I'll get a direct answer in a full conversational tone. Something like this. No, those aren't ladybugs. Those are Asian lady beetles. They're a gift to you in the lab, as they're beneficial insects and they'll keep fungus gnats and aphids at bay. Stuff like that. That's very helpful. It's like having a genius in your pocket. I need to stress this is not like the old apps like Plant Life and others. This is like having a team of botanists and scientists at your beck and call. They'll answer my questions in real words, like if I ask, what's wrong with this geranium? by just snapping a couple of pictures and clicking send. They advise me on watering issues, insect damage, possible soil amendments, and so on. And I even use AI to help me prepare these scripts for my YouTube channels. However, I'm careful to check the facts myself. I use my own experiences, of course, and outside sources. But even when I'm using AI, I will often use two separate AI sources to reaffirm my conclusions. I'm just a beginner in gardening. I think this is my third season. Before that, I knew nothing. So here's just a few of the things I learned from AI. Things like native plants that work in my zone, seed germination variations, how water and humidity affect seed germination, how to propagate plants from clippings, comparing different mediums, beneficial insects versus pests, and troubleshooting in real time, and so much more. Here, I want to stress that AI is so easy. I mean, it is so easy and free to use. Let me show you. For this, I will log on to gemini.google.com. You can bookmark this for quick access. Now let's take a look at the screen. Here, I just typed in a simple question. I would like to direct sow some perennials here in mid-March, Alabama, Zone 8. Can you tell me some varieties that are likely to thrive and bloom this year? Then I hit the enter button. You can see how quickly Gemini answers the question. Not just with 3 or 4 flower names, but it provides some guidance and detail. Quote, direct sowing perennials in mid-March in Zone 8 is a wonderful way to establish your garden, though it's important to temper expectations regarding first-year blooms. Most true perennials prioritize deep root development and foliage growth during the first season to survive the coming years. And so on. Then it suggests some specific varieties on what I might expect. Black-eyed Susans, blanket flower, purple coneflower. And then some tips for success. This is some pretty great stuff. So just go to gemini.google.com for Gemini, and I'll leave the links for both Gemini and ChatGPT in the description. So in my office, I keep Gemini and ChatGPT tabs open in my browser all the time. So imagine using AI for enhancing your knowledge base and skills in gardening. It's a huge asset. Of course, I also watch many other gardeners on YouTube, like everybody else. And that's a terrific asset too. But when it comes to some quick and thorough answers, I just think having an artificial intelligence large language model like Gemini or ChatGPT at hand is an indispensable asset. So that's all I have for you on this topic today. If you like what we do here at Grandpa Digs It, please let us know in the comments. Or if you have any questions, drop a note below. I read them all. And please like and subscribe, as it really helps my channel. And I look forward to seeing you again on Grandpa Digs It.